Buenos dias, shitheads. Scott here. Sorry it's been so long. I've been trying to upload a video to this channel for quite some time. I've been having some issues with my video equipment, figuring out how to upload it. I finally got StreamYard switched over to the account for this channel, and then I forgot because I did it so long ago with my other channel. When you set up to stream directly to your channel, you have to wait a certain period of time before before YouTube will allow you to directly stream to your channel. So I'm not able to do that today, and I really wanted to be able to get this video out reacting to Tom McDonald's The Machine, but that's going to have to wait a little bit. I had to do some other stuff with my video equipment, and I didn't even know if the webcam that I have is going to work. So I figured I would do this instead. I'm just coming on here to talk about some things that I've been thinking about over the past couple of, you know, year and a half. I was going to say a couple of months, but it's definitely been longer than that. Just a lot of the stuff that I see going on in the world. When I started listening to Tom McDonald, I started looking into, everything that he was talking about and just trying to verify some of it. And I never really paid attention. I was just asleep, staring at my phone, just like everybody else. But bottom line, the premise of this video, or the focus of this video, I guess you want to say, I'm asking the question: do we need to start over? Um, I don't know. I'm not really sure what the answer is to that yet, but it appears to me uh, that the world, at least it appears to be in a slight transition here. I don't know if you guys have noticed yet, but if you've been paying any attention at all lately, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's terrifying. It's the world is going straight to hell in a handbasket, and it's really, really scary. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we got to talk about it, guys. We got to start talking about these things and paying attention to what's going on. I'm not talking about all the wackadoodles acting crazy that when you're swiping through your phone on Instagram or whatever app it is you're using at the time. Um, I'm talking about the things that have been happening around you in your lives, in your world every day. How kids are being impacted by the way that they're growing up. Um, how society as a whole is going to end up being affected, and how society as a whole is going to suffer from that in the long run. When you see a video of somebody getting robbed, and there's a capable bystander watching it happen, and they don't intervene because they've seen too many things on TV about people intervening when somebody's getting attacked, and they end up, the person who was attacking ends up getting seriously hurt or killed, and now that person's on trial for murder because they intervened and helped someone. So now, yeah, let's put them on fucking trial for murder. What else is happening? When a 21-year-old gets pulled over for drunk driving, and she ends up in 4-point restraints and a bag over her head because she can't understand why the cop won't let her go. Because her parents always gave her a second chance. Why won't you just let me go and not take me to jail? It's happening, guys. It's happening all the time. I see it. I watch the reality cop shows and all that other bullshit. And I know a lot of that stuff is scripted, but I do a pretty good job of looking around and trying to find the stuff that is valid, and stuff that we should be concerned about. And that's some of the stuff that I'm seeing, guys. It's really fucking scary to me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not judging any of you in any way. I'm dependent on at least 3 apps a day to grow and advance my YouTube channels, which have become a very important hobby to me. They really, really have. So I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody by any means. I could invest more time into my hobby, and in a way I do. But I try to spend at least an hour or 2 a day just looking through the media streams, finding the stuff that is not misinformation, the stuff that's not trying to keep us afraid and angry and fighting with each other. I'm trying to look for the real stuff, stuff that's happening to other people, stuff, Good Samaritans or patrons putting out videos of something bad happening to someone when it's real. Normally, if you have more than like a 2-second clip of something happening, if it's a really short video, it's been edited, then you got to look further into that a little bit. But I figured out how to really kind of sift through the bullshit in the last year and a half, and it's really quite terrifying, in my opinion. I don't know what we're gonna do, guys. But something seriously needs to happen here. Like I said, I try to spend as much time as I can trying to stay up to date on what's happening in the world, current affairs, whatever you want to call it. Which turns out that that's a lot more difficult than it really sounds. Um, if you're paying attention and you're looking, you'll know that. But if you're not, you got to open your eyes. You got to start looking around. A lot of us are just staring down at our phones or tablets or whatever. Um, you know, I don't, I don't see anybody really paying attention to what's going on in the world around us. We've all, at least for the past decade or so, we've been shrouded in a safe and comfortable echo chamber that we've either chosen to surround ourselves with, or even worse, they were born into it, and that's the only thing they've ever known or experienced. That's fucking terrifying. I'm only 45 years old, and the younger generation no longer has the ability to receive, process, or even understand anything that is not centered around their own wants, needs, and desires. I'm not going off reels. I'm not just going off reels here, guys. It's I've seen it with my own kids. They're both Gen Z. Neither one of them will ever be able to be independent, functioning, productive members of society. They just won't. I've recently spoken with multiple friends over the last 6 months or so who say the same things. We thought we were doing the best that we could, but that's just what we thought. It's not the truth. It's absolutely true that social media, politics for profit, godlessness. Don't take that the wrong way. We'll get more into that later. Corporate media control, the business of medicine. The business of medicine. God, that pisses me off. And they're all driving this country, possibly the world, like a freight train, either right into total collapse or foreign rule. And if the powers at large give a shit about any of it, they certainly haven't been acting like it. Not lately, anyway. But that's just my humble opinion, of course. Take that for what it's worth. Actually, I don't blame what's going on Gen Z, and I don't even blame it on the millennials. I blame Gen X. I blame myself. I blame us. And I know if anyone ever sees this, I'm going to get hit hard for saying this, but just hear me out. I'm only going to speak from my own personal experience here, but I'd be willing to bet it's happened to a hell of a lot of people the same way. We were latchkey kids. We were the first generation to be considered worse off or disadvantaged because we needed a key to our house so that when we got home from school, we could let ourselves in and let the animals out, feed them, do our chores, possibly get dinner started, and then start our homework, which needed to be done before dinner was ready. If it wasn't, you didn't eat until you finished your homework. That's just the way that I grew up. I'm not saying that I had a hard life. I'm not saying that anything, traumatic happened to me. But that's how I grew up. My dad left when I was 4. My sister was only 9. My mother had to work 2 jobs just to pay the bills and put food on the table. And seriously, aside from major gift-giving holidays and birthdays, that was it. Roof over your head, food on the table. That's day in, day out, every single day for the vast majority of the year. That was my life. And that was fine. There was nothing wrong with that. I was okay with that. I feel like I'm better off because of it. My wife never knew her father. She didn't have a great upbringing either. I found him about 8 months ago, so they do know each other now, but anyway. My wife was an only child. Her mother was a single mother, and they didn't exactly have the most stable or healthy relationship when she was growing up. And my wife ended up a pregnant single mother herself. None of us had anything handed to us. None of us had anything, no college scholarships or college funds from our parents. We had to raise ourselves, and we were okay with that. Listen, I know we were considered to be disadvantaged and everything, but we didn't embrace that shit. We said, so fucking what? Watch this. And then we became successful, thriving members of society. Most of us, anyway. We consider ourselves lucky now to have grown up the way that we did. So then, when it came time for us to have kids, I think we thought to ourselves, We know that it's not our parents' fault, usually, that we had to grow up the way that we did, but we were going to do better. We were going to be there for our kids, make sure that they had a two-parent household, and if they, make sure that they had at least a two-income household if the parents couldn't stay together. I'm not judging divorce. I feel that it's corrosive and destructive, but if it's more corrosive and destructive to stay in a relationship, then it needs to end. That's how I feel about the whole situation. But anyway, so anyway, we had a whole generation of kids. We all said we were going to do better and we were going to stay together and we were going to have these awesome relationships and families and this, that, and the other. And then we figured out that that was hard. A lot of people just either didn't think it through, or they thought that they could do it, and then somewhere along the line they realized that they couldn't. And we ended up with a very large portion of an entire generation of kids being raised almost exclusively 80% of the time by their mothers. Again, don't attack me for that. I will get more into that later on as the channel grows. Just hear me out here. In my opinion, it is not healthy for a child to have long-term limited fraternal influence in their lives. I think it's destructive, and I think it makes for unprepared children. And it's obviously going to cause varied damage throughout the population. Some people it's going to affect more than others. Some people won't be bothered by it at all. But there will be a large portion of those people that are seriously affected by not having a father when they were growing up. I really, people like to talk about generational trauma these days. And I really don't think that they know what that is. Most recently, this is the only thing that I can think of that qualifies as generational trauma. Everything that's happened afterwards, I think, is just a direct result of that. I know this is pretty heavy, but I just really need to get this stuff out. I know maybe 100 people ever see this video, but I feel like it'll be therapeutic all the same. So if you guys are still here, thank you so much for listening. So anyway, there were more and more people from Gen X who were independent and grew up, figuring everything out for ourselves. No one could tell us anything. If we, got into if we got stuck, we figured it out for ourselves. We got into a fight, we fought back, we made it, a good life for ourselves. We didn't have to have anybody hand us anything. And there's nothing wrong with having help. But at the same time, not having any doesn't make you a victim. It just gives you the opportunity to be stronger, in my opinion. So I feel like as a direct result of us feeling like, there's nothing that can take us down, we can do anything and have fun and do whatever the fuck we want, a lot of us ended up getting pregnant or getting someone pregnant, resulting in a large portion of the millennial population being born. These are the ones that ended up in, for the ones that ended up in the child welfare system, I believe that the system failed them. Intentionally or unintentionally, they failed them, period. So those kids never had a chance. And I feel like, the kids that were able to stay in well-adjusted or otherwise households, we kind of, the Gen X people, the parents, we overcorrected with them. We overcorrected with Gen X, and we overcorrected with millennial population, limiting discipline, respect, and especially personal responsibility. That's a big one that's missing, guys. Our intentions were pure and just, but that didn't make it right. It didn't make us right, in my opinion. We wanted to do something good, and we ended up ruining an entire subsequent 2 generations because of it. This actually became the societal generational norm back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was all participation trophies, and nobody was ever really responsible for anything that they said or did anymore. And it wasn't to the point where it was like an epidemic level, but then the internet happened. Guys, the advent of the internet basically being the first taste that a drug dealer gives you before he starts charging you for the good shit. Now, the cell phone, not the little one, the Apple Galaxy XZ36 with the 42-inch collapsible plasma screen on it, that one right there, that one was the good stuff. We all gave into it. The convenience of it, it was always with you. You could literally do anything on it. I get frustrated because grocery shopping means sitting in front of a computer for 20 minutes, which is what I spend most of my day doing anyway. So yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I'm lazy. But about a year ago, I stopped and I really looked around me and started paying attention. I never cared about politics. I never cared about religion. I never cared about, popular culture or any of that other bullshit. I just lived my life, kept my head down, did the best I could in everything that I did. But when I really started paying attention to this shit, it scared the piss out of me, guys. And if you're not scared right now, you're not paying attention. You're just not. And I've just been really scared because I can see all this so clearly now, and I don't see a lot of other people paying attention either. And I just don't know how to get their attention without looking like a complete raving lunatic screaming that the sky is falling. It isn't falling. But nothing lasts if you don't nourish it and care for it and then allow it to grow under its own power. I feel so much better. So do we need to start over? I don't know. I don't think we do. But I definitely need to start paying attention. We definitely need to start paying attention to make sure that it stays that way. Anyway, that's what I've had to say, and I thank you guys so much for letting me get that off my chest. If anyone's still watching, thank you so much for your time and attention. It means the world. If you have any answers for me, please comment. I'd really appreciate that. I want to get some conversations started. I want to meet some new people. So hopefully, if you found this video, it finds you well, and I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. Help spread this message. And stay up, weirdos. Take it easy.